Hey, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Rebecca Lockhart Scraps 1500 subscriber celebration. And today I have chosen this particular layout to scrap lift, and I really like it. I like that it has all those big triangles, which are usually more challenging for me, so I thought I would just go ahead and give it a try and see what happens. I pulled out this paper, I believe it is from Paige Evans Horizon, and I am kind of trying to work through some of my Paige Evans papers, which you might have noticed if you follow my channel and you maybe saw my last couple of layouts. I primarily used a lot of Horizon, and so it feels really good to get those out of my stash because I've had them for quite some time. So this particular piece here, the blue, I believe it is from Bungalow Lane. I could be wrong on that. It's either Bungalow Lane or I think the other one is called Horizon or something like that. I don't have it in front of me, so I don't actually know 100%, but I'm pretty sure. So, and then this pink plaid is from Maggie Holmes. I think it's Garden Party. I think it's Maggie Holmes. Anyway, all old papers, and I'm not really too concerned with whether or not they meet up in the middle. That is usually my biggest concern, and where I struggle the most is getting these triangles to meet up. But because the middle is not going to show, I'm not too worried about it. And so it makes it a lot easier to line things up, and it's a lot less stressful. Now, I took my pieces all the way out to the corners. She did not do that. Hers has a little bit more white space than mine does, but that's okay. I don't mind that they're not exactly the same. This is really just a scrap lift of her. It doesn't have to be exactly copied. So, but I did really like that she had that green plaid, so I chose that pink plaid, but I'm flipping mine. So the pink is at the top. And I'm liking the way that it's looking. Now I have these pictures of Noah and his cousin and one of his little friends playing in my mom's front yard. And so I thought I would go ahead and scrapbook those, just because they look like I don't know. They look like they're just out on the, having a little gang meeting or something like that. Not like a gang isn't a negative thing, but like this little pod of kids that are all just sitting there chatting and everything. Which is kind of unusual for toddlers. Normally toddlers are a little bit more play side by side than play together, but it looks like they're all conspiring is probably the best word. So I've pulled out some of my Nuvo sparkle spray and my Shimmerz, and I'm going to go ahead and use those to do a little bit of mixed media around these two tags, and it definitely would not be a Rebecca Lockhart layout without a little bit of mixed media. So I thought I would pull out this periwinkle blue to match the purples in the leaves of that floral paper, and that is actually called Corney Flower Blue. And then I pulled in a regular blue, which kind of looks like it is the darker blue in that blue pattern paper, and that is called Blue Lagoon. And then the pink, I pulled in Strawberry Fields, and so I like the way that that's looking. It pulls out the pinks that are in those little flowers and that pink plaid, and I'm just kind of dabbing them around. I'm not really being super thoughtful about where I'm putting them, except for that I don't want big blobs of one color and then the other colors not represented in that area. So I am kind of like scattering them around, so get a little bit of each color in each area. Now the funny thing is, by the time I'm done, not much of this actually shows. So I didn't actually go over the center because I knew that wasn't going to show, but really there's not a whole lot of it that shows at all by the time I get all my flowers placed. It is what it is. Sometimes that's the way it is with mixed media, but there are a little bit of splatters that show, so it's okay. So I'm using my sparkle spray in Marine Mist, and normally I don't use a hole punch to tap it off, but my hole punch was handy because I punched the holes out of those two tags, and those two tags were definitely Paige Evans papers. And then I think this is called Lavendar Lining, and the pink one is, I'm not sure. It was up on the screen for you there, so if you missed it, go ahead and scroll back. I'll try to remember to put it down in the links down below, but same color scheme represented, the blue, periwinkle, and the pink. So just wanted to add a little bit of sparkle to that and kind of spruce it up just a bit. So I've got my photos printed in slightly smaller than a 3x4 because that's what my selfie prints. And then I also have pulled out the worn lipstick and the broken china. and I am just inking up those tags to kind of make them a little bit brighter. I just really wanted to make the tags pop a bit and have a bit more definition around the edges, and so I thought I would ink in the exact same color that they are, rather than doing like a black or something like that. And then I did the blue the same, but I did use my blending brush because I was too lazy to go and find the little foam pad that actually goes with this particular color. It's probably literally sitting in the box where I pulled my ink pad from, but I had already kind of put that away, and so I didn't really want to dig it out. And the brushes sit right on my desktop. They are not as easy to work with when you're inking up edges as one of the foam pads. So if the foam pads is what you have, that's probably still your best bet for inking up the edges. Although the brushes work wonderful for stenciling, and I prefer them over the foam pads for that, and that is why I have both. Now it looks like I just popped up this, or skipped a whole bunch, but I didn't really. I pulled out these flowers and I kind of just placed them around, and then quickly thought I better put my baker's twine in, and then I'll work on the flowers. But they're not really put down or anything. They're just kind of sitting there. And then I noticed also in Rebecca's layout, she has some sketchy lines drawn around her triangles. So I went ahead and did that, and I wanted to make sure I did that before I started putting all of my flowers down. I know I don't have to go all the way to the middle to do it, to finish it off, because I know that there's going to be a bunch of stuff piled in the middle. But you know, I wanted it to be underneath the flowers. I didn't want to just do it at the very end and have it only go right up to the flowers. So I went ahead and just took this opportunity to go ahead and do that before I actually adhere anything down. So now it looks like we're back to where we started when I was inking up those tags, and then I put some of the baker's twine in there. I just pulled out a periwinkle one for the bottom to bring in a little bit more of that color, and a pink one for the top, just to stay with the pink. Now these flowers are from a variety of different places. The ones with the big yellow flowers, those are from Amy Tangerine's collection. I want to say it's Picnic in the Park, but I could be wrong on that. But they were from a pattern paper that I just had taken the time to cut all of the flowers out of, and I've used them on several different layouts. And so here are the last few bits and pieces of them. I thought they were perfect for this layout because it has all of the colors represented that are in the background papers, although it does add a little bit of red, which is okay. I don't mind that, as long as it's kind of like evenly dispersed, which they are. I'm not going to have a lot of red up at the top just because of the sheer arrangement of each flowers, like each set of flowers. Like I didn't have enough to go all the way around, and some of them fit better in other areas than other ones. So anyway, I think it does all end up balancing itself out. The little teal flowers kind of represents the darker print in that geometric at the bottom, and the yellow and pinks pick up the yellow and pink that are in the floral and that pink paper. And so I'm pretty happy with the way that it turns out. I even like those little tiny blue flowers, which really picks up the blue that is in that bottom paper. I think the only other color is there is a little bit of an orange flower up at the top middle, but the orange on the pink tag, the little hole reinforcer, is also orange. So, you know, it all works together, and I think it looks fine. Keep in mind that when you do cut apart these like 12 by 12 sheets that have flowers, even the ones on the edge that are slightly cut off, or, you know, mostly cut off, those actually do still work because you can tuck them under. Like a lot of these were just partials. They're not actual full flowers. They're just partials that are cut off, and nobody knows the difference. So that periwinkle one, and then the pink one that you see off to the left hand side, those are definitely from a different collection, but I cannot remember which collection, and they were also fussy cut out of a piece of paper. So you know, don't be afraid to mix and match your collections, and don't be afraid to mix and match your papers. So I wanted to also take a moment to remind you guys that this is a hop that we are celebrating. Rebecca, who is amazing and awesome. She's such a sweet person, very kind, and I've really enjoyed doing several hops with her. And so I really encourage you to go and check out her channel and see what she has done and leave her a little bit of love. And there are a lot of people that are playing along and celebrating her, so be sure to check out their videos as well. All of those links can be found in my description box down below, so that you can easily get to those videos. And as always, I do try to keep a list of the things that I use down below. I don't usually list the papers because a lot of my papers are older. But I try to tell you in the video if I can remember. But any of the mixed media products or anything like that, I will try to link down below. So now I'm just tucking in some leaves here and there to bring in more greenery. We do have a couple of green leaves up at the top, and then over by the left-hand side of the tags. So I wanted to bring in some more leaves in different areas. Now they are a different kind of leaf, but that's okay. I don't mind. It is just bringing in a little bit more of that darker color, and I like the way that it's looking. This particular one that I am fussy cutting right now, I decided just to cut off the rose and the yellow because I couldn't find a good way to tuck it under with all of those pieces attached. So I split them out, and then I pulled out the little tiny blue one, and I'm going to scatter a few of those around as well. I will be fussy cutting a bunch more of those to kind of scatter around the entire layout. And I am popping them up onto some foam. Now all of the flowers that are tucked under are flat underneath the tags. They're adhered right to the background paper, but some of them do have foam to lift up the outer edge just to give a little added dimension. And then the ones that are on top of the layout, those have some foam on top, or foam underneath them, just to, again, add more dimension. And I really like the way that looks. I like my layouts to have dimension, but I don't like them to be so bulky that, you know, they take up a huge amount of room in your album. The foam does help to keep that structure and that dimension so that when you do put them in your album, they don't just squish down and lay flat. So that is why I use the foam. And I tend to use the foam from Walmart that is sticky on one side. And then the other side, I just use my liquid adhesive, and I prefer Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. It holds really great, dries really quickly, and I've never had a problem with it like getting clogged. I usually lay it sideways, as you see on my table there, and it doesn't really get clogged. In the odd event that I've left it open for, I don't know, a couple hours, sometimes it'll be a little bit hard to get the glue out, but all you have to do is pop the top off and go run it under some water. And when I say the top, it's not the screw-on lid. It's the actual nozzle where it comes off, where the glue comes out. If you stand your glue up on your desk, tap it down a couple of times, and then just grab the nozzle and bend it to the side, it will pop right off, and it goes right back in. It's not a problem. It's not a screw-on or anything like that. It just kind of fits right in there. And you can just go run that under some water. And I usually kind of blow it out or tap on it to get all of the excess moisture out. And then my first couple of squeezes of the glue I do onto a piece of scrap paper, because the glue does tend to be a little bit watered down after doing that. So just because there's always a little bit of residual water left in the nozzle. So I'm just placing these little blue flowers. I know this video is a little bit longer. I left a lot of this in just because I know a lot of people enjoy watching how all of these flowers get placed, and trying to keep balance and in color and in size of the flowers. So that is my primary goal here, is just to keep the balance of the colors and the size and shape of the flowers maybe. Not so much the shape, but the colors. So if I do something on one side, I kind of want to do it on the opposite side. I want to make sure that there's plenty of greenery tucked around, and that it doesn't look like the leaves are coming out at odd angles or anything like that. Even though in nature, sometimes the leaves come out in odd angles. So, and like I said, you're not seeing much of that mixed media anymore. You're really only seeing some of the splatter over on the white side, maybe a little bit peeking out around maybe the blue there by the red rose and the pink flower. You can see a little bit of the blue. But yeah, most of it got covered up. Maybe I should have made it a little bit larger. I'm not really sure. I guess I could have gone back and made it a little larger, but at this point I decided just to go ahead and go with it and leave it as is. I think her clusters were, or her leaves didn't take up as much space on her page maybe, or her tags were actually, yeah, her tags are overlapping a bit more than mine are, and so that's why she doesn't take up as much space as I do. But that's okay. Like I said, it's a scrap lift. It's not I'm not trying to copy it verbatim, and I'm really enjoying the way that it has turned out. I really like it. I don't normally do these kind of layouts that have so many flowers around the photos, unless I'm using like one of the really fancy like Prima type layouts that are more showpieces. So I think this is kind of interesting because it's just all like ephemera and stuff. And then I've put a little glue on my fingertip just to keep my baker's twine from unraveling. And then I like mine tucked in. I don't really like them to stay loose. It actually wouldn't have been a bad idea on this one, but usually I like them kind of tucked in and tidy. So then I'm going to add some sequins. I'm just kind of keeping it really simple and going with a kind of clear iridescent looking sequin. I'm not adding a bunch of color because there's already a lot of color going on here, but I do want to add a little sparkle. And as you notice there, I've also added some little tiny butterflies, and those were cut out of the same paper, that Amy Tangerine paper, I believe. And I really like the way that they look. They just kind of add a little something to it because I like the black and white, and it makes me pretty happy the way they turned out. In case you're wondering, the tool that I am using to adhere the or to handle the sequins is called a crystal katana. It works really well for gems and sequins. It's got kind of a waxy tip on it that allows it to stick to the sequin, but when you put it in the glue, it kind of releases it. And then the other pointy end, you can kind of like move things around a little bit with. It allows you to kind of press them down. And the wax tip is something that you can replace in case you use yours up completely. I don't know how that would ever happen, but maybe if you wear the point down and have to keep making it pointy again, I don't know. You don't really sharpen it, so I'm not really 100% sure, but they do sell replacements for it. So if that is of interest to you, I purchased mine at Hobby Lobby back when you could still get a 40% off coupon, but they're available online at several different places. Now, I did pull out this sticker sheet. These are thickers, and I don't actually remember the name of them. How terrible. Let's see here. I found them. They are just called Girl Power. So if you are looking for those, just search on Thickers Girl Power, and that is what they are called. I like this piece that says Good Times, and I thought it was like the perfect little saying and the perfect color there, and I like the way that it nestled in. And so I'm just adding a little foam behind it because some of the flowers behind there had some foam, and I wanted to make sure that being chipboard, it didn't like get pressed down on one side and pop off because there was no support under it. And then I added these two little blue chipboard hearts from the same thicker sheet, and that's it. So go and check out what Rebecca has for you today as well, and wish her congratulations on reaching 1,500 subscribers. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for the time that you have spent with me today. As always, if you have questions or comments, you can leave those down below, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. And I do really appreciate that you chose to watch my channel today. If you're not already subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys again next time with another video very soon. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.